one of the fun parts of the book is when
lots of fun parts.
There's
of the
so
book.
many parts, but when you talk about your own experience in TV.
Oh God.
Okay, and you open one of your chapters talking about your journeys at CBS and then MSNBC.
Yes.
What did they teach you about? Because I think, I mean, you've lived this example of power to the people and facing up to the establishment, and certainly the media establishment. What was that like being on the inside with a liberal CBS?
You know, I didn't really know what to expect going in. I knew it was going to be a wild ride. You know, I was kind of a provocateur in college. I edited a conservative newspaper at Dartmouth College, which was nationally pretty significant. So I was always on the front lines politically. I didn't quite know that I would be such a fish out of water at CBS or even at MSNBC. But MSNBC was kind of a different story. But CBS, I was hired to be a political commentator on the weekends. And I was a lawyer working at a big law firm. I wasn't really happy, and it wasn't really my thing. So when they, you know, through a series of meetings, ended up saying, well, why don't you come work for us? I was like, that sounds kind of fun. Why not? You know, do Sunday evening commentaries with like 3 or 4 minutes and go film segments. And God, I'd never done that before. That's kind of neat. Because they wanted to have more of a diversity of viewpoints. I think they were feeling the pressure even in 1996 of what was happening with, you know, conservatism, and Clinton was getting a lot of heat, and it was you know, the conservatives were becoming more, I think, more powerful again after some years after Reagan. So one of my favorite memories is how I did some piece on the life issue, the pro-life issue. Oh, right. And first of all, that in and of itself is something that they just, you know, they shy away from. They don't want to talk about that issue unless it's, you know, very rosy coverage of what the abortion rights movement is doing. And I actually wrote a script that I was set to go on the air with, and I think it was like 45 minutes. I was going live. You know, I did a wrap at the beginning of the piece, and at the end I had the piece in the middle. And I had, the pro-life community says, and I don't even remember what the subject was now, but it was pro-life. Pro-life community said, and the, and I think I said even pro-choice community, oh, Laura, you cannot, you know, this is not acceptable. I'm like, what? Like, I looked at the script, and the pro-life had been taken out, and it said anti-abortion rights activists. That's what they call. That's what they said I had to call the pro-life movement. And I said, why? Why? Well, because we don't want to pass judgment. We don't want to seem like we're passing judgment or favoring one side over the other. I said, well, first of all, no one's going to think you're favoring the pro-life side of the equation, so you don't have to worry about that.
Right.
But it was like talking to people who were speaking a different language. I mean, totally different language. Yeah. They didn't like me, and for the most part, there were some really fun people there, and people I still talk to. But for the most part, they didn't like me because not even because of who I was, but what I represented. Right. This idea that some upstart from the legal world was going to come in and actually have some type of platform to talk to the people. You know, how dare you? You didn't go to journalism school, or you didn't cover fires in Des Moines. You didn't, you know, do the hard work. And I just laughed because it's like you're pretty much telling stories. And if you can tell stories and tell them with an interesting point of view, or, you know, tell the facts if you're a reporter. I wasn't a reporter. What's the big deal? Mm-hmm. But it was definitely, and I kept getting my, I should have known it wasn't going to be an easy ride for me, because I kept getting my nameplate on my door taken off my door, like the Laura Ingraham with the little CBS, and it kept coming into the office in Washington at the bureau. I'm like, who keeps taking my nameplate off? What's going on here? And every day it would be gone, and I finally stopped complaining about it, and I think I wrote a note for a while on the front door, a piece of paper, and I wrote, "Conservative inside, don't feed, you know, don't we'll write for food," or something like that. You know, beware, conservative inside, don't feed the bears, or something. It was ridiculous. But in MSNBC, it was sort of a little bit of the same, but it was more flexible, and I did have some run-ins with the top reporters at NBC, who, again, I thought, you know, it was clear that they didn't really like the fact that this conservative was given this show out of Washington, and in various ways, I was that message came through to me, back channels, overtly, And I was uprated for things stupid and more significant, like when I tried to get the Gilligan's Island people on the show. The Gilligan's Island, almost the whole cast was in Washington for some goofy charity.
Yeah.
And I found out, and we got in touch with them, and they could all come on the show, like Gilligan, the Professor, Marianne, or something like that. I was a big fan. This was a morning show at 9 o'clock. Like, who cares? Okay. First show they ever did out of Washington. And they pitched a fit because I wanted to get like little sand and a little fake palm tree it's just one of the funny things. But ultimately I said, look, we're having Gilligan and the Professor and Marianne on, period. And so they came on and they ended up using something funny, I think maybe even on nightly news that night. It came across really funny. But I was trying to do what we do on talk radio on MSNBC early on in the tenure there, and that was 1998. And had a few other choice political run-ins with reporters, but we have to save that so people can read it.
Yeah, that's right.